logged in as me for Zoom, but I have it controlled on my calendar here.
If you use a handicap spot, you stick this up here.
So I logged in under my personal email.
It's a computer? Okay, so,
I see it
Chuck
all the
Schneider's,
time.
Chuck Schneider's a good example of it. He looked very healthy and everything, and he had a handicap sticker. He got out of his car, he walked into the grocery stores, he did this, he did that, he looked good.
let's see.
Did he get it, Carla?
No, his computer's acting up. So I have him on the phone on speaker. Will that work? On my phone?
Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, this is a special council meeting. Two items. One is to certify the election results. We have those tabulations in front of you. I guess I can give you numbers if you want. For mayor, Rick Miller total 2,035, Brian Sluice 984, and there were 24 write-ins. Council members, Sean Blackburn had 1,128, Kenneth Schmidt had 1,572, Mike Lindquist had 1,773 with 29 write-ins. And on the Civil Service Personnel Board abolishment, the yes votes were 1,359, the no votes were 1,399. So to make it real short, Mayor is Rick Miller, the two council members are Ken Schmidt and Mike Lindquist, and the abolishment of the Civil Service Board was defeated by 40 votes. Council, I need any discussion, or I just need a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
A second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimously. All right, second item is consider the HR software. Shauna, you want to do that, or Carla, you going to do that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I can. I wasn't able to be at the last council meeting where you discussed all of the items for phase 2. So I understand that there were some additional questions related to one of the proposals that we had for the HR software. So I did provide, I believe, some maybe better detail for you in the packet related to that. I can tell you that with our phase 2, where our numbers are at, we are able to include the Civic HR software in addition to all of the other projects that we had proposed. They'll all be able to be funded. Some of our projects in phase 1 budget, we had some savings with on the tables and chairs. They had charged us sales tax, and that got removed. So the proposal for the HR software it's a cost of $6,500 that can be paid for with the CARES Act. There's an additional $3,200 of an annual licensing fee. If you look at the costs associated with that, there is is a lot of hiring that does go on. I know that might have been something that was questioned as to whether or not it was worth it. At any time that we don't feel that the software is worth it, we can certainly discontinue it. But I do believe, given the number of hirings that we've had over the last couple of years, that this would really assist staff in being able to handle that. It really does a nice job of being able to manage the software. What I did provide for you with this also was kind of our hiring process and kind of the processes of what we use, some of the challenges that we have, and what some of the software would do to improve that. And maybe what I need to do is just leave it at that and open it up. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right, Counselor, you got it in your packet. Frank, I see you're waving your hand.
Yeah. Shauna, wasn't there more modules or something to this?
Oh, yeah, they're all separate. Thank you, Frank. I forgot to mention the clerk module was another one that we were considering. And after we reviewed that further with staff, that clerk module we're able to do a lot of the things with our agenda that clerk module does already that we've figured out with what we have. So we aren't recommending doing that one at all.
Okay. And that licensing fee you said is annual, so it's once a year for that.
That's correct. Yep.
But even with that one, there's more to it than just hiring. There's some evaluations on it, and there's a spreadsheet.
There's a lot too of the new employment processes and being able to have to do the records retention with that. It also does the scoring of the candidates for us, which is kind of nice. What we would do is work. If it was a civil service position, we would work with them on how we score those, which we do right now, but we each do it individually. So there's a lot of nice advantages to doing that will really streamline that process.
All right.
I also thought in the scoring, it scores the candidates, or you could score the candidates that applied.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Any other council members got any questions?
Yeah, I got some concerns, I guess, or questions too. First of all, we've done a lot of hiring in our office to fill these jobs, especially in the HR department, a new person. Not too many years that was supposed to help take care of these problems. Secondly, we've updated our computer system in the last year or two, which is supposed to help with some of these problems and getting this stuff. I think we should probably hold off on this just until we get done with all the other little things we have going on yet this month. You know, spending extra money again and again. Why do we keep hiring people to do this stuff? I was under the understanding when we got this new computer program that a lot of stuff would be a little bit easier to do. I think it's a matter of just going over some of our old programs and working together to come up with something that's going to work with what we have, rather than keep spending more money and another year down the road we're going to have to hire another person or whatever. It seems like that's the path we're going through, and when does it stop? You know, we get these programs, we update everything, and told that this is going to help, and 6 months or a year later we're told it's no good, we have to go to something else. So I think we should step back a little bit. You know, the argument is, well, this is paid by the COVID money, but I think there's other things we got to get going, and we got to get some of this other stuff done. So hopefully by this next spring we can open up the city again and be prepared with opening the city, rather than going through these programs such as this. And as a matter of fact, I don't know how we can do this when we got turned down on our civil service process. So that would be another question. we still have to follow our civil service for another 2 years. So I guess it's just something that probably needs more discussion as to what's going to take part and what this program is going to do. Like I said, we have a HR right now. We have a person in there. We have some things coming up that I think we need to discuss before we start doing a lot of this stuff. So that's the position. I guess at this time, you know, we were not going to spend any more money than we had to. We've been told to be careful. So, you know, it's not a large amount of money, but it's still an amount of money that I don't feel is necessary to spend because we have the proper people and we have our new programs that hopefully we're supposed to work together with. So I guess that's the point I'd like to put out, and something that, like again, a 5-minute conversation isn't going to cure. So I think we have to look into it a little bit deeper.
Frank, I see you're waving your hand.
I don't agree at all. The requirements in HR change as fast as we can.
Frank, speak up. Yeah. And when you talk about preparing us to open the city, that's exactly what this kind of software does, is aid us in the hiring process. And we got staff leaving faster than we can hire. We need to streamline and help whatever possibilities we can to shorten that hiring process from application time to final interview. You know, I don't agree at all, so I will make a motion to approve this.
Can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah, we can hear you. I have a motion right now. If somebody wants to second it, we can discuss it.
I'll second it.
All right, now discussion. Now, anybody want to discuss this further?
I understand Mike's concern, but I also agree with Frank. We need to do something to streamline processes, and this might be a decent way to do that.
All right. Anybody else?
Well, that's what, you know, we talk about streamline, but no one ever talking about working together to get this thing done. I've seen the application online. It can be changed. We can change it within, I'm assuming. Instead of having to hire these people all the time to do the jobs that we've hired people to do, let's streamline our own. I mean, it's very redundant when you go in there to answer some of the questions. A lot of that stuff can be taken away and asked one time rather than several. Like I said, we've bought and paid for new programs, computer programs that are supposed to help our city employees here. So why can't the city employees for once work together and come up with a plan to reduce what we have? That's a very simple problem. I mean, we got people that know how to run these programs, you know how to change them. I think it just takes a couple of meetings with your employees here, get it changed, get that employment process slimmed down. And to be truthful, how are you going to slim it down when you got to keep the old in yet? I mean, yes, the only way you're going to slim it down is initially when you are looking at the applicants. You still have to look at them all. You still have to go through and read through them. You know, what are we hiring people to do? Find ways to get out of doing what they're hired to do and that type of stuff? No. I think let them do their job properly, work together and come up with a program of our own that's on our own computer programs. It doesn't take a genius to go through some of that stuff and just reduce some of it and find a way if they want to send a resume in, which they can do already, I believe, on this program that we have. So why keep spending and trying to find ways when I think it can be worked out between the people and do it that way? I mean, that's what we hire people to do, that's what we've got people to do, and work on a program. I mean, this, according to what I'm seeing on this, is gonna take over 4 months to initiate, from what they say here. So in that 4 months, I'm assuming we could come up with our own during that time period. So I think if we're gonna spend COVID money, let's spend it properly on the things that need to get spent so we can open up our city to
Frank, I s-
events and other
Mike,
things
who's
that can
gonna do that
happen.
programming?
Vic's got a question. Say it again, Vic.
I'm wondering, Mike, you say we can do it ourselves. Who is actually gonna do all of that programming and that review and developing the programs you're talking about that we can do it ourselves? Who is we that are gonna do it ourselves?
I would assume Mike.
Frank, you were waving your hand too. Do you have another comment?
Didn't hear a word they said, so.
Yeah, well, this is the way I look at it, Mike, is it's part of our job when we're running the city, the employees we do have, to give them the tools they need to do jobs. So this is no different than hiring an officer and say, okay, well, now we're not gonna give you a gun or a vest or a vehicle to get around in. So that argument is mute to me. We hire staff, now we give them the tools to do their job. And this is one of them.
All right. any
Okay,
other-
to that argument, Frank, is we have given them the tools. We have spent how many thousands of dollars on a new computer program in the last, I believe it's the last year, that was supposed to help and have some programs to help these people do their jobs. Now you want to spend several thousands more.
I don't think you ever spent a day in an HR office or what them requirements are. So you saying that is not a valid point to me.
Most of those programs that we got, those computer programs, were also bookkeeping and accounting programs. They weren't HR programs. They were new bookkeeping programs and stuff. So.
Right, exactly, not to aid in staffing.
Anybody else? Any comments?
Yeah, I guess what I'd like to ask is a $3,200 annual fee. So how long is this contract? It's annually then?
I would assume it's annually, and if we don't pay the fee, we don't have the contract.
Okay.
Am I right on that, Shauna? I mean, we can get out of it in 2 years if we don't think it's worth it.
And
Okay.
I want to reiterate just a couple of things. First of all, the $6,500, and I understand it's being paid for out of the CARES Act. The $3,200 annual fee, what we spend in staff time putting these together is probably less than 2 hiring processes. That's how cumbersome the process is. So we don't have any existing software that allows us to do that. Just in 2020, we had 10 different hiring processes and hired 26 new employees. That is going to continue to be the norm, the way that hiring is going, because, and particularly in some positions like police officers. And right now we still have 2 CSOs and we have an open police officer position. This works well with our civil service process. Many times cities that use this program does that. I'm trying to find ways to help streamline that because I don't want to have to come back to you in a few years and ask you to have an HR person and a payroll person. I'm asking to have a program to assist the payroll HR person and myself and the department heads when we're trying to hire these people to make this process go smoother. We've also heard a lot of times about the need to make the hiring go faster. We're trying. We are trying to do that, and we're trying to keep up with it. And if we don't keep doing that, we are losing them to the other cities because they've been able to get through their processes faster than us.
That's
And
right.
I think the thing we've lost here, because my question was too, is how many people do we hire? Sean and I talked about this a little bit, and we think that, well, we're gonna hire 1 cop and a CSO, that's it, though it's no big deal. But we also hire 10 seasonal workers, we hire who knows how many fire department people. These are all part of that whole process. It's not just full-time employees, it's any seasonal employee, it's any firefighter that comes on board. So the whole process falls into this. So it is more than what we think. I think of it as Well, are we gonna hire anybody next year? We've got all the cops, we've got everybody? Well, we don't, because every year we hire up to 10 seasonal workers, and we hire firefighters all the time.
But for hiring at the part-time level, I don't believe the hiring is, and I don't know.
Exactly the
I
same.
don't know if the hiring is as, long as a process for a part-time person as it is for a full-time person.
They fill out the same applications.
The
Yeah,
application process is the
applications,
same.
applications
Hiring
are
is
applications.
all of exactly the same.
Yeah, they're all the same, so. All right, any other discussion? Oh, Frank,
Yeah, well, you gotta pile on top of that is people don't stay around like they did 20 years ago when I was on here. When you hired somebody, they stayed with the city until retirement. Now, in the 20 years I've been doing this, I see a lot more turnover. People are leaving, and I guess that's just the nature of the beast. So don't forget about that. Just because they're here now doesn't mean they're going to be here tomorrow.
yeah, all right, I have a motion and a second to approve, the Civic HR software. I assume I should do this on a roll call vote because some of them are also on Zoom, so I'll do that. Frank,
Yes.
Vic,
Yes.
Mike,
No,
Ken?
Yep.
And myself, yes, passes 4-1. All right, it was a special meeting, that's all we can discuss, so, we will be adjourned at 4:50. Thank you, everybody.